Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am sitting here charging my car and I have 11 minutes left, so I figured I would record a little video. And today I figured I would talk about my journey from vegan to keto, carnivore, ketovore. So let's see if I can do that in 11 minutes, just to keep it short for you guys. Actually, funny enough, the same reasons I went vegan are also the same reasons I left veganism. I was vegan for almost 12 years. I think I started when I was around 19, 20, and it began with research into how to be healthier. I was experiencing stomach issues and I was being gaslit by my doctor. He was saying that I'm just a stressed teenager. So it was something I dealt with for years, and I just kind of gave up on the medical system. And I was always experimenting with different foods. I grew up healthy, eating healthy food. But it just, nothing was really working. And I, turned to the internet and the first thing I found was fruitarian. And I was like, I love fruit. And so that just kind of started the vegan rabbit hole. You know how it is, you search one thing and it turns into a bunch of other things in that area. So then I started seeing all the horrible things that happen to animals in the factory farms, and I had never really thought about that when I was, eating meat. And I never really liked meat in the first place. I ate chicken. I didn't really care for beef. My mom would cook buffalo sometimes, but other than that, I would just eat chicken. And lots of vegetables, and I don't remember what else. Sometimes I'd have cereal and crap like that. So I found fruitarian, and then I, found what was happening to animals, and I was like, that's enough for me. Seeing that, I was like, I'm vegan now. So I went vegan immediately. I think I still would have dairy sometimes. I worked at a smoothie shop and they would put dairy in the smoothies, and I would taste the smoothies or have the leftovers from the blender, because I didn't like wasting anything. So after I stopped working there, I was full-blown vegan, no dairy, super easy to give up meat. It was hard to give up cheese, but then fake cheeses became popular, and so I did that for a long time, and none of my issues ever got better. But I didn't care at that point, because I love animals so much that after seeing what those animals experience in the farms, I couldn't, I had to be vegan. That was it. I became an animal activist. I was protesting. I became one of those vegans. I was preachy, culty, religious vegan. I was so annoying. I am vegan kind of vegan. I was like that for a while. I calmed down, and I still had to experiment with eating different foods in the vegan realm, because I was I was always having gas and bloating. That was the main thing. And that just never really stopped. My diet became pretty limited. I couldn't really eat processed meats, no wheat, which is a lot of processed meats. I pretty much found my staples, and it was tofu and soy, yogurt, and protein powder and fruit. And I would just live off of that. It was redundant and boring. And during that time, I was eating more balanced meals. I definitely tried whole foods, plant-based, but it felt no matter what I did, it was it didn't really help. So I just got to it being super limited, and that continued for a while. And I still was having the gas and bloating, and I was just I'm just gonna have to live with this, because I'm not gonna ever eat meat again. There's no possible way. And then I started dating this guy, and he was always taking me out to dinner, which I wasn't used to. And he would take me to like really nice restaurants, and there wasn't ever anything I could really get. He would always get like the nicest steak, and I started getting curious, honestly, because I never liked steak, so I wasn't ever curious before, but like seeing him eat it, like smelling it and being like, wow, that actually smells good, like I felt guilty for that. But eventually I gave in. We were in Mexico, and we were at this amazing restaurant, and I was like, you know what? Forget it. What happens in Mexico stays in Mexico. And I had a bite of steak, and I was like, dear God, that is good. And I was like, you know what? I'm never doing that again. Like, I felt so guilty. And then, we're back at home, like a week later or whatever. We go out to like, what is it called? A Brazilian steakhouse. And he's eating all the steak, and I'm watching him, and I was just like, forget it, I'm gonna try again. And so I had a few bites of steak, because they bring out like different kinds of steak and stuff like that, like some chicken and pork, and I had the steak, and I was like, this is delicious. And it's so weird how the universe works. Like right after that, I started getting all these like videos in my YouTube of the carnivore diet, and I had like never heard of that, and all of a sudden I'm seeing all these videos, and I'm very open-minded. I'm always open to new ideas, but I had never seen that before. I had people tell me meat's healthy, and I'm like, I don't care. But I was so frustrated with how I felt that I was even more open-minded to like changing the way I ate. So I started watching these videos and doing research on the carnivore diet, and mostly reading everybody's experiences in the comments of these YouTube videos. And I was like, wow, like people are healing from all the things that I've been experiencing for so long, like chronic fatigue, gas, bloating, mental fog. Like I thought I was stupid for like ever. I just thought I was dumb, because I felt like my brain didn't work, and I was like, this is just how I am. But I swear, once I like started just eating that little bit of meat from the Brazilian steakhouse, my brain, I felt it like turn on, and I was like, I feel different, I felt good, and I was like, wow, I can't ignore this, and then I started seeing the videos and being more open-minded, and I was like, wow, I have to like rethink this. Like my health is important. Like I care about the animals so much, and I love the animals, but my health is also important. And so, I was doing research and reading people's experiences, and then I started seeing like all this other information about how, like, cause I was vegan for the animals and for the planet mostly, and then I started seeing how like actually veganism, like crops are like the agricultural process of vegetables kills lots of animals, and I never thought that before. I never thought about that, and it kills these little critters. And those critters, they're not being eaten. They're just being left for dead. They go back into the earth, but still, like, and so I was like, wow, like, none of these diets are perfect. And I started eating meat again, and I was like trying to only eat like local meat, and I still only eat local eggs. Like I only buy eggs from the farmer's market, and I don't eat that much meat. Like I really don't. So in retrospect, I probably eat like a half a cow a year, if that. So I'm killing like one animal a year basically by the way I eat now, and I feel like that's a lot less harmful to the animals and the planet than when I was vegan and I was eating all these things that were causing more harm to the planet. And people will argue whether this is true or not. I don't totally know. It's like the stuff I believed when I was vegan, that stuff may or may not have been true, and the things with carnivore may or may not be true, but I believe it. I feel it to be true, and I feel like I create a lot less waste because I don't eat any processed foods, like a lot less trash, because like only really eating meat, eggs, like beef, bacon, eggs, and butter is like 99% of my diet. I'll have a treat now and then, like you know, this is trash. This is gonna be trash after I drink it. And then I'm also treating myself to some of this chocolate. Like, no, this isn't carnivore, but I'm a human and I'm a girl and I like chocolate. So it's getting close to, you know, time of the month and I wanted some chocolate. It's still keto. But yeah, so going carnivore like healed all of the things I was trying to heal. Like literally no bloating, no gas, no brain fog, like just so much energy. I feel amazing, and I can't deny that. Like eating meat, I swear, turned my brain on. Like I feel smart now. I don't feel like I'm dumb anymore. So it's amazing. And I went like from vegan to like full carnivore, and then I got kind of tired of just eating meat, and I was like, you know, now I have this freedom. I can eat whatever I want. It's so liberating. So I started eating whatever I wanted, like fruits, and you know, I like grains. Like I'd have like a pastry every now and then, like treating myself to that. Like still eating like whole foods with like a little bit of processed foods here and there, but a lot of fruit, because it started to get hot and I was craving lighter things. Oh, and like yogurt and kefir and raw milk. And I felt pretty good doing that, but I recognized that I felt better not having those things. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to like full carnivore. And then I was like always curious about keto, so I decided to give that a try because I was curious about it, and I was like, it's much more obtainable on a like animal-based diet than like being a vegan keto person. Like that's so hard. So that's what I've been doing for the past probably 2 months, is like keto, carnivore, ketovore, where, you know, I have some treats, lower protein, higher fat, and this is like the best I've ever felt. Like no energy crashes, like stable, smooth energy. I sleep really good now, like no bloating, like not feeling tired or uncomfortable after meals. So I have landed on the keto carnivore and I absolutely love it, and I'm gonna stick with this for now, but I am gonna be traveling and I'm gonna try to stay as animal based as possible, but I'm still gonna like enjoy the things. I'm going to Europe, like I want to experience the breads and pastas and all that. So obviously I'm not gonna be keto eating all the pasta, but I also want to live. And then when I'm home, I'll go back to ketovore because this is where I feel the best. So yeah, 13 minutes and the car is still charging, so that didn't work, but this, you know, this worked. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I am happy to answer, and I appreciate you guys for watching.